and then our last speaker is Natalie Kent.
What an awesome lineup of speakers that we've had. This is great. All right, my name is Natalie Kent. I'm the creative director at Focus Lab, and I'm going to give you guys a creative pep talk tonight. But first, I have a little bit of bad news. We've been lied to. We've been told that creativity is too hard to measure. We've been led to believe that creativity belongs neatly packaged in a department, tucked away so it doesn't disrupt others. We've been told our prices are too high or worse. We've been asked to work for free. We've been told, I could have done that. Maybe we've been told that our work is important, but when it comes to big decisions, those are best left to people with MBAs, the CEOs, and the politicians with law degrees. We've been downplayed as too disorganized, too lacking in structure, too sensitive for feedback, too often breaking the rules, and too hard to manage. Even moody, erratic, eccentric. You just can't get rid of them. We've been downplayed, and each one of these slowly erodes our creative power. The result? 3 out of every 4 people believe they are not living up to their full creative potential. And a survey of 16,000 employees found that 35% of workers are only given time to be creative just a few times a year, or less. Take a minute to think about your workday. Do you have real deep work time set aside to be creative? Or are you expected to be in meetings, on Slack, and in email 24/7? When you silo creativity to a department or a team, the implicit message that sends is that there is a separate time and place to be creative and innovative. But it should be infused in everything we do. We are experiencing some of the biggest challenges society has ever faced. Climate change, global pandemics, overconsumption, living an unlimited lifestyle in a limited resource world. Income inequality, where the gap between the world's rich and the world's poor is the biggest it has ever been. When we face challenges like these, it makes us question the status quo. It makes us look at how we've been living life and if there could be a different way. Innovating a new solution, a not yet discovered idea, requires creativity. Creativity will be a business survival skill of the future. The World Economic Forum suggests that by 2025, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, half of all employees, will have to reskill in order to be prepared for the future of jobs. In 2019, LinkedIn named creativity as the most important skill in the world. And according to Harvard Business Review, the future of human work is imagination, strategy, and creativity. And overly process-driven jobs are going away. We know this. A report by McKinsey said the more technical the work, the more likely it will be automated. But work that requires a high degree of imagination, creative analysis, and strategic thinking, creativity, the harder it will be to automate. But the skill of creativity should not be confined even to our traditional creative occupations, designer, writer, photographer. The World Economic Forum ranks creativity as the 5th most important skill in the workplace in 2025, but they specified that this means everyone, regardless of the industry, jobs, or skills that you have. Creativity is number 5. So think about it. Journalists who tell news stories that can cut through the noise and connect with people, that takes creativity. That's a novel solution. What are the stories that aren't being told that people want to hear? But the same phenomenon is happening everywhere. We don't want just software developers who can write code. We want them to come up with creative solutions to solve the next big problem that we don't see in front of us. You don't just want an analyst who can crunch numbers. We want analysts who can think of those creative solutions based off what the numbers are telling them. But beyond automation, beyond just telling stories and writing better software, why is creativity so critical for the future? So in brand strategy, I work at a branding agency. In brand strategy, we often use archetypes from the work of psychologist Carl Jung. There are 12 archetypes total, and one is the creator. The creator is the innovator, the dreamer. The creator archetype believes if it can be imagined, it can be created. And the creator archetype can translate a vision into a reality. As designers, I believe we all have some form of this archetype within us. I once had a designer tell me they couldn't wrap their head around how a writer can just come up with a story out of thin air, pulling from something complete, like nothing at all, into a compelling story. I said, you do that every day, just with design. Think about our process. When we're creating a new logo, a brochure, an ad, a campaign idea, we start with a blank piece of paper, a blank artboard, a blank slate. And although nobody creates in a vacuum, we're all inspired by somebody or something, we still ultimately come to work and face that blank slate every day. That's the unknown. And you know you're a creator archetype when you can look the unknown in the eye without flinching. It's a tolerance for the ambiguity. It's being comfortable tackling that which isn't yet known. The unknown doesn't necessarily mean it has to be scary. It just means it's unknown. As creatives, we tackle the unknown every day. In fact, I believe this skill is so important, I literally have it on my resume. Literally, tackling the unknown is one of my expertise. Because if we can envision a new brand from square one, why couldn't we envision what a better future could be? What if we unleashed our creative power that's been boxed in from society and work to infuse that into everyday life, into our bigger and broader decisions, or at least in a way that helps us better cope with the bigger unknowns we might be facing in our personal lives. So what can we do? We can work to build our creative capacity. Reframing the unknown as a moment for curiosity, not fear. Think about that. Reframe the unknown as curiosity, not fear. By seeing challenges and disruptions as opportunities to be inventive and explore a new way of doing things. By embracing boredom and making time for creative play. But we can also speak up for creativity in our workplace. Again, do you have time to be creative? And if you feel like nobody is listening, go somewhere where they do. Because the workplaces of the future will value creativity. And now is a great time to be looking for a new job as a designer, and there are more remote opportunities than ever before. Or start your own. And look for places in your community that could benefit from a creative perspective. Maybe places where creativity has been kept out. You could be in a community action group, city council, the nation's capital. So let's go back to the challenges. What if we used our creative power to envision a better future? Again, income inequality. In 2019, the top 1% of earners earned more wealth than the bottom 50%. What could a more equitable society look like? Or a world with finite resources, where expecting exponential year-over-year growth just won't be sustainable. And we have to define a new way to measure success, a way that benefits communities and our planet. What could that vision look like? Or climate change. This has been a really difficult year, 2020, 2021. There's all of this negative news that we see, right? And there's some fatigue around it. This is difficult. And since 1970, the Earth's temperature has raced upwards faster than in any comparable period. And we've all seen it. The heat waves, the droughts, floods, and wildfires day by day, making the world just a little less livable. What could a thriving future look like? A future of hope. Because if there's a vision, there is hope. And the creative class of the future, all of you, can help build that vision. So imagine our future is a blank canvas. It's a blank piece of paper in front of you. And the thing I ask all of you is, what will you create? Thank you.